Well, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, Toy Story 4. Just as a side note, I don't really care about the Toy Story franchise. Now, let's get the surprised look from all of y'all faces. It's not that I think they're critically awful films, it's just that I don't care that much for films like Toy Story, especially after I've gone through my childhood days. Or most Disney films for that matter, as I've never even watched Frozen.
Really, nigga?
Yes, I know, it's unacceptable, especially for a person who do movie reviews like me. Yeah, I need to watch more of those films. Yet this film, Toy Story 4, has successfully invigorated my excitement for the Toy Story franchise. That's because Toy Story 4 has superb storytelling, both fulfilling and relatively satisfying character arcs, an arrangement of soundtrack that can really mess with your emotions, as well as superb animation, character models, editing, and other technical aspects you can name. The film also reintroduced us to Bo Peep, a much-loved character that was cruelly ripped apart from your hearts as you watched Toy Story 3, only to find out that she was missing, that she was sold off in some garage sale somewhere, with Bo Peep only appearing in video footage. And perhaps her disappearance was, weirdly enough, for the better, as it provides excellent narrative opportunities for this film. And boy does this film need a character like Bo Peep. The film is able to inject much needed fresh air into the character of Bo Peep. And Bo Peep herself injects much needed charisma, charm, and energy with her unique personalities. Gone are her passive and unadventurous self, as in the first and second film, she prefers to stay behind because she's made of porcelain and she's kind of bound to her comfort zones. And she's replaced with a Bo Peep that is a daring, brave type of character. Sort of like a reliable female Indiana Jones, if you will, or Lara Croft for that matter. Her quirkiness and overall chemistry and back and forths with Woody helps lighten up the cinema a lot. And I love how they're able to reintroduce a character that was growingly stale to the point where she was unused in the third film. Disney's able to make Bo Peep's character both fresh and exciting. Though I'm sure most of you guys are completely proud of her character, I have several issues with her character, especially with the amount of assertiveness that she poses towards Woody. So what are my main issues? Well, it has been established from the previous films that Bo and Woody are partners and they're both in a loving relationship. Well, this film seems to tweak a little bit of that aspect. Maybe so in an effort to make Bo less of a lovey-dovey character, but more of a
strong female protagonist.
Previous films has established that Bo deeply cares, worries, and loves Woody's character. And she loves being a part of Andy's family in Andy's home. Why? Because there's a choice for her. It's either she wants to leave, getting deported essentially, or Woody, choose Woody, her boyfriend. Because for loving partners, I mean, you don't just leave your boyfriend like that. Much less giving an unsatisfying departure from her home. Also, the same can be said, even more so than the previous case, as to when Bo and Woody reunite. In several instances of the film, weirdly enough, Bo sort of tries to conceal her previous relationship with Woody as if something bad happened to their relationship. I'm not talking about the physical distance, but it's as if Woody has done something wrong to her. She flats out denies that there's anything going on with her and Woody to her friend Giggles. And there are several scenes in the film where Woody is completely left by her. Although she comes back, this you should have known that this is Woody. This is Woody's character, you know. This is the character that you've spent almost 8 years together and who you fell in love with. You shouldn't even be surprised when Woody chooses his friends over everything. He prioritizes his friend, that's the point. And she just leaves him all alone to face the villain of the film, Gabby, and her scary Benson. Sure, his friends are injured, and sure, Bo Peep, you're tired and you're spent. But your partners, your boyfriend and girlfriend, shouldn't you be sticking a neck out for each other? I don't know, there's much left to be desired between these two characters, and I can't help but feel a sense of dissatisfaction every time I remember these scenes in the film. Thankfully though, this is the only major problem that I have with the film. And this should be good news to you guys because not many people echo my opinion. It's just, damn, why you leave Woody hanging, bro? You leave Woody hanging like Snow Carl. That's cruel. That's cruel. On towards the villain, Gabby. Interestingly enough, Gabby doesn't seem to be like a villain in this film. Because as a villain, her characters have motives that are so believable. So much so that as audiences, you can connect with her character and even feel what she desperately wants to feel as a toy. To be loved. And her story arc is kept interesting throughout the film because there is a twist that makes her more grounded, that keeps her character fresh until the ending. And what I like most about her is how her character is tied with Woody's character arc. At first, Woody is reluctant. He desperately seeks attention, sort of. He just wants to be played again by Bonnie. And because of that, he wants to keep his most unique feature as a toy, his voice modulator. But as the story progresses, Woody and us is introduced to Gabby's pretty sad condition, in which her voice modulator was a defect and broken from the start. And because her voice modulator is broken, she's left behind. She isn't a desired toy. For me, it's very satisfying personally that we're able to see Woody grow as a character in this film, and he's able to slowly understand Gabby's motives and eventually sacrifices his unique feature, his voice modulator. Toy Story 3 does try to make you understand Lotso Hagen-Bears' evil motives, but his motives are too big and evil for it to be believable, and Gabby's are just much more grounded, simpler, and makes more sense. Sheriff Woody. He has traveled through oh so much that we see his character development from a jealous star toy into a selfless toy that deeply cares very much about his toy family, and finally entering his final phase where he's this veteran toy that essentially has passed his prime and he's overlooked and remains overlooked throughout the whole film. This arc is enjoyable and satisfying because Woody as a character has grown with us since the 1990s, and you can't help but, you know, feel a little bit sad, maybe drop a tear or two when the ending comes around. As viewers, we feel like we grow alongside Woody as people, toy in this case, and that's what makes this franchise so special. And this is why people treasure the Toy Story franchise so much, even after we've grown past our childhood years. And what's great is Pixar is able to wonderfully reinvent situations from film to film to keep the tension interesting. From Toy Story 1, there's a new character. Woody feels threatened that he won't be the star toy anymore. And come around Toy Story 2, where Woody is obviously stolen, and the toys have an increasing fear that they won't be played as much as Andy grows up. And in Toy Story 3, we see that fear realized as the toys are essentially just given out to Bonnie, the new owner. And finally, we reach Toy Story 4. When we were able to keep refreshing the tensions like what Pixar did wonderfully in the Toy Story franchise, it enables opportunities for our characters to grow. Not just, it's the gang versus new villains, it's the gang versus new villains. No, that's not the case. It allows the characters to have wonderful story arcs, especially like what Woody has right now. Yet, it's a shame that we didn't see much characters other than Woody and Bo, such as our beloved characters like Woody's horse, Rex, Mr. Potato, and it's a damn shame, especially since it looks like this might be the last film. Since they were barely in the film, these characters deserve much more screen time for one last magical hurrah as a squad, as a lot of these characters has been there since forever! Well, for that point, I'm sure most Toy Story fans will agree with me. I hope so. The soundtrack in this film isn't something that is catchy enough for you to remember all of the tunes, but it delivers magical results to help create an atmosphere like it does in this film. The wonderful soundtrack helps stir our emotion and enhance scene after scene after scene and makes it much more impactful for us to experience. Now overall, do I like Toy Story 4? Damn yes! And although I have several issues with the way Bo is acting towards Woody, and there's some much needed icing on the cake for the other Toy Story characters like Rex and etc. And I feel like there's a needed closure for the relationship of Bo and Woody. Maybe, just a goodbye kiss like what she did for Woody in the end of the first film. Just as a sign that they're back in love again and things are going well again for them. Yet, there's no other film that has been able to sway my perspective so much towards this franchise like Toy Story 4 did for me. As previously, I didn't give a flying F towards the Toy Story franchise, but the huge amount of F that I will give this film is the huge amount of respect I have for it, that they're able to reinvent Bo and Woody's character again to make them more interesting than ever before. They're also able to create a new spin on what's the meaning of being toys. You're free, not bound to a single kid, but you're free to wander the world. 9.25 out of 10 and a properly deserved induction into my Cinematic Hall of Fame. Thanks for watching and subscribe.